Let's talk about the question that so many expats and nomads quietly Google at 2 a.m. What actually happens if I just don't pay my taxes? I mean, why not? What are they going to do about it? Come get me in Colombia or Thailand? I'll just hide out here forever. It's an exciting fantasy, and most of us have thought about it at one point. But here's the reality. You can run from the IRS, but you can't hide. Today, we're going to cover what happens if Americans abroad don't pay their taxes, how they get caught, and what catch-up options exist if you've fallen behind on paying your taxes. Let's dive in. Unlike almost every country on earth, the United States taxes based on citizenship and not residency. That means if you're a U.S. citizen or green card holder, you're required to file and pay taxes every year, no matter where you are in the world. If you fail to file your U.S. tax return, the IRS can charge a failure to file penalty of 5% of the unpaid tax per month, up to a maximum of 25%. On top of that, there's a failure to pay penalty of 0.5% per month, which can also add up to 25%. These stack together plus interest, which compounds daily, so even a relatively small tax balance can balloon to a large amount over time. Then there are FBAR penalties, which are often far more severe than income tax penalties. If you had more than $10,000 total across foreign accounts at any point during the year and didn't file an FBAR, the non-willful penalty can exceed $10,000 per violation per year. If the IRS determines that the violation was willful, then the penalty can be the greater of $100,000 or 50% of the account balance for each year of violation. That means someone with a $200,000 foreign account could theoretically face six-figure penalties for reporting failures. So how do people actually get caught? One of the biggest sources is FATCA reporting. Foreign banks around the world must report U.S. account holders to tax authorities, and ultimately that information flows to the IRS. When you open a bank account abroad and disclose your U.S. citizenship, that information invariably makes its way to authorities back home. If the IRS sees account activity abroad but no corresponding tax return or FBAR filing, that raises some big red flags. Another common trigger is large international transfers. Moving money between countries, receiving foreign income, or selling foreign assets often creates a paper trail that passes through regulated financial institutions. These data points don't disappear just because you're living overseas, and oftentimes they can and will be traced back to you. Audits also happen more frequently for expats than many people expect, especially when foreign income is involved or reporting forms like Form 8938 are missing or inconsistent. Now let's talk about what the IRS can actually do to make your life incredibly difficult if you remain non-compliant. First, they can assess tax debt and begin collections. That includes placing federal tax liens against your assets and intercepting future tax refunds. But more importantly for expats, they can refer serious tax debt to the U.S. State Department. If your certified tax debt exceeds the legal threshold of more than $66,000 a year for 2026, the IRS can trigger passport restrictions. That means your U.S. passport can be denied renewal or even revoked entirely. Third, noncompliance can really affect your future life decisions. If you ever want to apply for certain visas or open foreign investment accounts, those unresolved tax issues are probably going to rear their ugly head once again. Now, if you honestly didn't realize that you had to file taxes, which, believe it or not, is a pretty common problem among expats, the IRS does provide a pathway to get back in their good graces. The most important program for expats specifically is the Streamlined Foreign Offshore Procedures. This program is only for non-willful filers, meaning you didn't intentionally hide income or accounts from the IRS. Under these procedures, you generally must file the most recent 3 years of federal tax returns that you missed along with all required IRS schedules. You also must file the most recent 6 years of FBARs for any foreign accounts you held during that time. Then you attach a streamlined submission statement that explains why your failures to file were non-willful. If done correctly, the IRS will not assess penalties for failure to file or FBAR failures under the streamlined rules. It goes without saying that you must pay any tax owed, but thanks to exclusions like the foreign earned income exclusion and other expat tax credits, you may end up owing very little in the end. There will be interest on your unpaid balance, but that's a hell of a lot better than the penalties. For most expats who didn't intentionally avoid taxes, the Streamlined program is the first fix and dramatically better than ignoring the issue and just hoping it goes away, because it will not. There are also separate delinquent FBAR submission procedures which can apply when someone properly reported and paid tax on the income but simply missed the FBARs. The IRS says that it will not impose an FBAR penalty if certain conditions are met. Now, if you fail to file the FATCA, you may qualify under the Delinquent International Information Return Submission Procedures. You supply the late forms with reasonable cause, and the IRS may accept them without penalties. In some cases, expats may be able to request penalty relief based on, quote, reasonable cause. This is not automatic and must be supported with documentation, but it's another way to reduce or eliminate those penalties that may have accrued. So with that being said, we have a lot of content on this channel about optimizing your taxes as an expat or nomad. We also just released our free 2026 expat tax guide, which should come in handy now that we're in filing season. So check that out. Link is in the bio to sign up. Don't forget to follow our channel. We have lots of content coming up on tax season that could help you save big. So follow and stay tuned. Hit that like button. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.